This is the very first exercise on PHP functionality, so I'm gonna explain a little bit about the Apache and browser stuff we need to work with to get the exercise done. So I expect that you already installed a MAMP or a LAMP or a WAMP depending on your operating system, right? I got over here a WAMP installed, right? So what you see is that because I'm using MAMP, it actually shows me the port I'm working on, but most people will just have http // localhost, right? And I'm working at this moment in WSDB. Now, this WSDB refers to a spot on my hard disk called WSDB. And at this moment, you see there are many folders, and there's one file called index.html. Apache will recognize the index dot whatever, can be HTML, can be PHP, and display it. So if I just would open this in my preferred editor, I will use TextMate, but you can actually use any kind of editor. You will see that now there's just hello in there and an underline. So I would like just add something, hello you, or maybe hello, yeah, well, hello you, go for, and then I'll make it bold, just a stupid text. So what you see over here is HTML tags, underline starts here, underline closes there, small text over here, bold starts here, bold close there, go, 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 right? Just a stupid example. I go back to my browser. So what did I do? I save my index file here. I go to my browser and then I refresh, and then you get like whatever is in this file. So it simply displays whatever is in the index file. So what happens if you delete a file? Hop, file is deleted. I'll go back to my browser and I reload. Now you see that it actually shows whatever is in my WSD folder, okay? Which is going to be useful for exercises. There's something, I don't need that. So the first thing you need to know about PHP, so I'm going to close this one, but I'm going to open a new file. The first thing you need to know about PHP is that it has like a starting tag called PHP, and then it closes. So it's very much the same like B, right? But you're gonna work in this part. So we're always gonna work inside the PHP tag, and this should be at the beginning of your tag of your file, and this is at the end. The first thing you want to do is show something. So if I would write something over here, and I would like to do the same in my PHP, then you need a little bit of syntax. It's called echo. You need to say that it's a string, right? And then you always need this dot point dot, whatever, to say that your expression stops over here. So this is like the very basic expression you can create. I'm gonna save this in my WSD folder as test.php. Save it. There you go. Now you see that it has syntax. Over here you see that this is the PHP part. This is the HTML part. I'll just say and over here. So you see that my editor is kind of saying that it shouldn't be there, which is good. I go back to my browser. First, I always need to reload the folder there, change the test.php like I did over here. I deleted the folder, I added the test.php. If you click on this test.php now, click, I got an error. Interesting. Okay, this is stupid. Oh yeah, forgot question mark. Wow, that's why it says that this couldn't be there, because now I show that my PHP ends. Okay, stupid question, mistake, happens to everyone. So you see over here and over here, while actually this is on very different locations, right? But this is HTML. Don't write any HTML when you're working with PHP. Keep it clean. That's a basic rule. So don't put things over there. Always use stuff like echo here's a string, and then you end your expression. So if I would, for example, forget this part, it would also complain, saying, oh, no, it doesn't. But if I try it twice, it will. See? Because it says that you didn't close the expression. Of course, if it's the last expression, there's nothing over here anymore, so there won't be a mistake. So you don't really need this last one, but you know what? Just put it there for... Anyway, over here, because there was no white space over here. Oh, ta-da, okay. Just a stupid basic PHP. Okay, so now you know how to show things in PHP. So let's get back to our question. Our question is, create a function that will count the numbers of words in a string. Hint, have a look at substring count. Okay, that's a very short hint, right? So if you don't know anything more, what do? Google it. Gonna Google it. Yep. And the first thing that pops up says PHP substring count manual. That's exactly what we need. We want to understand, trying to write PHP code and get the substring count. Now take that you get like rubberish, you don't understand anything over here. Well, add PHP to it or something, or any other key, and you will get to where you need to go, right? You see, for example, over here, it says, do you want substring count JavaScript, or substring count MySQL, which maybe are interesting function you want to use, but we want to use the PHP. So we go to PHP. This is the online manual. This is like the formal description of what your substring count does. But if you're new to this, just go to the exercises, examples. There you are. Okay, so what you see over here is it starts our PHP and there it closes our PHP, right? And then you have this $ text is equal to some kind of a string. So this is a string. Okay, so if I copy it and I put it in my file, that's my string. Okay. And then it says something like echo string length count blah blah blah. So what this small thing does is just tell me how many lines there. It's always already, so this double slashes will give you an opportunity to put some text over here. So this is just information for the coder. So it just tells me that if you try this, it will say 14. So let's try it. Go back to my local host. Indeed, 14. Of course, it's a simple example. But we are not here for string length. Now we know that, well, this just counts the numbers of characters over here, which are 14 in total. But we want to understand the substring count. So let's go to the second issue. It's just gonna copy it, hop, and put it over there. It tells me that I should get a 2, right? A 2 as an answer, didn't copy it. But if I save it and I go to my local host, it will give 2, right? So what's happening over here? It says I take this text, so this string, because this was a variable, right? So it's just the same as this part. And then it says is. Now why does it count is twice? Well, because there's is once and there's is twice. So, well, the other examples show you when you have more value, well, when you have more arguments, couldn't get it, arguments, and you want to do more on the substring count. But for our case, this is actually all we need. We need to count a part of a text. Which part of the text? Well, this part, right? Because these are 2 words. So what's the only thing that differentiates the first from the second? That's this part. So what we need is an empty space. Well, what you see is that this empty space will count once, 2, 3, but there are of course always 1 word more. So if I do +1, I get 4 words. Let's try it with another one. Well, let's go over here, say take this, copy it, and I'm gonna replace. So I'm gonna say, let's say that this is going to, oh wait, let me try to do that. Well, I'm gonna say there is a text2, another variable called, so wait a minute, you see if I in my browser add 1 quote, it always gives me the ending quote. So other browsers will not do that. Make sure that you always have the ending quote. and don't forget the dot comma so that you know that your expression closed. So now I have two of these words, right? And so I can just do like echo. Second thing I want to do is create a HTML tag break. That's the way you say that you need a new line. And then I do it with text2. So go back to my localhost. So there's 4 and 13. Well, that's probably right. Okay, there will be 13 words. Now, of course, this doesn't display nice, and I also ask you to create a function. This is using a function. This is not creating a function. I want you to create a clear abstract function called word count. So you start with saying function, give it a name, word count. You tell which arguments get there. So there's text, so, oops, text, and then it will have a body. Okay, I'm gonna change this variable text to text1 just to show you that this text and this text are different. This text is defined over here and will get assigned when you ever use a function. So what do you mostly do with a function? Mostly you return something. So you return. And what do you want to return? Well, you see this part I'm echoing here. This is actually my word count. So I'm gonna add it over here. Substring count, not text1, but this text, and I'm gonna return it. So now I have a function, not substring count, but word count, and over here I change it also, word count, where you don't have to do the +1, because this is done by your function. Okay, so this is like, well, of course it gives the same, it's identical as what there was before. Now in this case it's a little bit stupid, right? Because the only thing you do is +1, so you could have just used substring count, but it's just a basic one to show you how to create a function. So a function always starts with function, has a name which you just give, has one or more arguments which you also can give, and then has a body. That's the basics. Let's now do a second exercise.